Move over, David Chappelle. Chucky's the real closer. What up? It's your boy B Reed for this episode of To Be Named Later. And today we're talking about old Jon Gruden, former coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, former coach of the Las Vegas Raider and former Monday Night Football color analyst. So it was discovered that between 2011 and 2018, Jon Gruden was doing his own David Chappelle's impression, only it wasn't as funny. So the New York Times released an article last Friday with an email that had some kind of racist vibes to it against Damari Smith, executive director of the NFLPA. This happened in 2011 during the lockout. Now, at first when I heard this, he basically said that Damari Smith was unintelligent and that he had lips as big as Michelin tires. I'm not gonna front. I did kind of laugh. Now, I didn't immediately think Jon Gruden was racist. I just thought he said some racist shit. And because he's in football locker rooms and he's a football coach, probably shit he hears every day, put in the email, didn't think about it. Gave him the benefit of the doubt. Apparently, this was just the NFL sprinkling little emails out. Now, they expected Mark Davis to make a move that weekend, but all we saw was Jon Gruden release a statement that said he went a little too far. He was angry about the lockout and that he didn't have a blade of racism in him. Now, his defense kind of made sense because he also took some shots at Roger Goodell the same way. But he was able to coach over the weekend against the Chicago Bears. Apparently, this pissed the NFL off and a lot of other coaches off that this was able to happen. So the NFL did what the NFL did. They started leaking more emails. And come to find out that it went way beyond racism. I mean, these emails went for 7 years, and don't be surprised, but he was emailing the former president of the Washington football team, Bruce Allen. Now, Bruce Allen was actually the target of this investigation because last year they had a work misconduct before the Washington football team changed their name. Now, this is the organization that refused to change their name for over 20 years, and people have been fighting against it. So if he was emailing anybody, I would expect it to be somebody in the Washington football team's organization, in which it was. This investigation was actually of the former president Washington football team, Bruce Allen's email from that workplace misconduct investigation that they're doing. They confiscated over 65,000 emails from him, and they've been going through it over the last couple of months. Now, in these emails, they found the communication with Jon Gruden. It also had communication with like the CEO of Hugh Hooters, the executive of the Outback Bowl, and some restaurant owner in Florida. It's probably more than that. It just hadn't been released because we're talking about 65,000 emails of communication, and Jon Gruden was the target of this set of emails. But in these emails, basically, Jon Gruden was going against everybody with misogynistic, homophobic, all kinds of comments. And of course, this was enough to get him fired or make him resign because racism is not enough. Just saying racist statements against Morris Smith wasn't enough to get him fired this weekend. So they had to release the full plethora to get Mark Davis to pay attention to these. On Monday, after they released more emails, Mark Davis met with Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden resigned. Now, Jon Gruden also released a statement, but who cares what he says? Because, fuck Jon Gruden. No one cares. But he resigned 4 years into a $100 million contract. This wasn't when he was coaching. As I said, most of this happened during 2011, 2018 when he was working for ESPN. Of course, he was working for fucking ESPN and Disney when he was making these comments. Now, like I said, a lot of this venom came because of the lockout that happened in 2011. That's when it started. Although he said comments about Damari Smith, but he also made comments about Roger Goodell. He called him an anti-gay slur, the F word, and he also called him a pussy. You know what I mean? There was also, they said, pornographic stuff in there, but group of old men emailing, I'm not surprised that's in there. Some of the stuff that he was talking about, he was upset about. He was upset about the emergence of female referees in the game. He was upset about gay players in the NFL, most notably St. Louis drafting Michael Sams. He believed that the NFL made Jeff Fisher draft Michael Sams. And you also had the whole tolerance during the protesting of, when black players weren't standing during the anthem. So he was kind of pissed off about all of that. You know what I mean? So, but there were several more emails that just had offensive language towards coaches, media, anything you can think of, Jon Gruden had this. So he resigned on Monday, and he was Rich. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Rich Piscon, the special teams coach, will be taking over his spot. It was also reported that he will be removed from the Tampa Bay Ring of Honor, which he was put up there because he won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. I believe that was in 2000, 2001. But he'll be removed from the Ring of Honor also. Now, yes, we call Jon Gruden, and Jon Gruden is racist, but I also say be careful before you stand on your soapbox, because you go over a 7-year period and you look at most Americans, private chats, emails, WhatsApp, group me's, you're probably going to find something that's offending some group of people. Now, he probably took the cake, and it doesn't help that he's emailing somebody with the Washington football team. So he probably really means that shit. But we all know that the NFL is a racist organization. If you go through most of these owners' communication, you're probably going to find something like this. And I'm curious to see, because they said it's 65,000 emails. I don't know how many they went through. The problem is maybe they're not communicating with Bruce Allen, but I'm fully confident that they're communicating with somebody, because the NFL is a racist organization. We've known that. They blackball Colin Kaepernick. They blackball players and treat them like animals on a regular basis. They vilify them in the media. And when the owners do things, then it's kind of brushed under the table. So this isn't a big surprise to me. It's just a surprise that the NFL actually acted on it and released it, because these are usually things that the NFL will keep secret. Probably because he dissed Roger Goodell is the reason why these are actually leaking. Because if he wouldn't have said, if the NFL doesn't leak them, then how do they know? This is the NFL leaking these emails to let them know, and it makes the NFL look bad. But this is basically serving Jon Gruden up to say that, hey, we're trying to clean up the league. And I really don't think that's the case, because I think most of these owners are racist. Everybody pointing out Jerry Jones, but I think Jerry Jones probably is the least of the racist, even though he's from Arkansas and he played at Arkansas and he lives in Dallas, Texas, and he has the Cowboys. It would make sense, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more owners that's more racist than Jerry Jones. But good that they did. Good that Mark Davis forced Jon Gruden to resign, and the NFL at least stepped up in this situation. I don't think it's pure, but whatever the cause, we need Jon Gruden out of here. And hopefully he doesn't get a job or a commentating gig anymore. But that's it for this episode of To Be Named Later. It's your boy B Reed. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.